Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, or good afternoon, I should say. Welcome to Mustang Arena for our second game in our Old School Jam Classic. Please welcome our guests for the varsity contest from Oak Ridge High School. They are the Pioneers. And they'll be taking on your Wekiva High School Mustangs. Before we begin our varsity contest, let's meet the teams. We'll begin with our guests from Oak Ridge, and we will start at point guard, a 5'6" junior, number 3, Tori Bernard. At guard, 5'4" senior, number 5, Brianna Kay. At forward, 5'8" freshman, number 11, Selena Farine. At shooting guard, 5'5" junior, number 23, Angelina Ochang. And finally for the Pioneers at center, 5'10" freshman, number 24, Zahara Jones. The head coach of the Pioneers, LaTory Williams, and assistant coaches Eric Thompson and Louis Lubin. And now, let's meet the starting lineup for your Wekiva High School Mustangs. Starting at guard with 5'6" freshman, number 10, Jada Eads. At forward, 6' junior, number 15, Rylan Moffett. At forward, 5'9" junior, number 24, Madeline Tusi. At forward, 5'2" junior, 5'11" junior, number 32, Canary Halliday. And finally, for the Mustangs, at guard, 5'6" senior, number 4, Shadaria Smith. The head coach of the Mustangs, Mr. Tommy Butts. Assistant coaches Keisha Brown-Griffin, Robert Moultrie, LaToya Ross, and George Spearman. The officials for tonight's game, or this afternoon's game, are from the Central Florida Officials Association here in Orlando. We thank them for their dedicated service to our high school athletic programs and join them along with our participating schools, reminding everyone to make great sportsmanship a part of this and every athletic competition. Once again, for those of you in the arena, we want to remind you that this game is being live streamed on YouTube and the NFHS network. Make sure your friends and family know to search for Wekiva Sports on their favorite computer, smart TV, or mobile device. For those of you who are already watching us online, thanks for tuning in today. My name is Mark Barchi, the voice of the Mustangs and the sports information director here at Wekiva High School. I'm joined as always by Neil Fisher from the Apopka Chief. We hope you'll subscribe while you're here, and we are underway in the varsity contest. Better late than never.
And once again, thank you, Mark. As always, a fine job of introducing the teams. And these two teams come in, of course, Wekiva. We are playing at Mustang Gymnasium, the home team. Wekiva in the white uniforms with the maroon numbers. That's their traditional outfits. Oak Ridge in the darker uniforms, the black with the white numbers and green trim. They come in with an 8-6 record. However, they are 4-0 in Class 7A District 5 competition as the first field goal attempt is no good. Wekiva, of course, comes in 12-3.
And also, Oak Ridge, a little short-staffed today.
Yes.
They only have 9 on their roster normally. They have 3 out to injury, Peaks, Pierre, and Jackson. And so that leaves them with just 6 players on their roster, the 5 that are on the court right now, plus Milani Sheffield.
Yeah, and of course, Sheffield, the only player that will be coming in. So certainly the starters are going to see a lot of time, and probably, barring no foul trouble, a couple of them are going to have to go the full 32 minutes as both teams have failed to connect on their first field goal attempt. And this is Moffett making
Rylan
the
Moffett
draw.
from Shadaria Smith puts the Mustangs on the board.
And so Moffitt gives Wekiva a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, and Neil, having only 6 on your roster changes the way that you play. It changes your level of risk that you're willing to take, particularly on defense, and how aggressive you're going to play, because foul trouble becomes a very significant problem for you when you only have 1 sub. And here we're going to get Shadaria Smith fouled on the attempt. She'll go to the line and shoot 2 for the Mustangs. The foul called against number 5, Brianna Gay, on the block. Her first personal foul, and the team's first.
So 6:13 remaining in the first quarter. Wekiva 2-0. Shadaria Smith a chance to increase that lead, playing for Wekiva. Unfortunately, her first free throw kicks off the heel. And for those of you who might have tuned in a little bit after Mark went through the starting lineups, Oak Ridge starts with Tori Bernard, number 3, the guard. Brianna Gay, point guard. She's also the captain. Number 5, Selena Foreen. She's small forward, number 11, as both free throws are no good from Smith, and that keeps Wekiva's lead at 2-0. And Madeline Touze says, give me that ball.
Yeah, she doesn't get it directly, but held ball, possession, Mustangs. And so that actually counts as a steal statistically, since the Mustangs had the possession arrow in their favor.
Yeah, Angelina Oching, the shooting guard. Number 23, point forward, Zaharia Jones.
Canary Holiday, and 1.
And so that rounds out the Oak Ridge lineup. Again, they come in 8-6, but 4-0 in their district.
Foul is called against Brianna Gay, her second personal foul, the team's second, and that's bad news.
Yeah, worst possible news for Oak Ridge.
2 fouls in the books in the first 2 minutes when you only have 6 on your roster, and that can spell trouble.
So
Holiday does convert the 3-point play.
And Wekiva up 4-0.
5-0, counting the
5-0.
previous free throw.
5:50 remaining in the first quarter. Wekiva's starting lineup, as they almost get the turnover there. A little bit of mishandling from Oak Ridge. Eads, the guard, number 10. Moffitt, the forward, number 15. Touze, the forward, number 24. Holiday, the forward, 32. And the other guard, of course, Shadaria Smith, the only senior in the starting lineup, number 4.
Ocheng is called for traveling. Mustangs ball.
Wekiva again comes in with a 12-3 record. Of course, Wekiva is a state championship contender on a perennial basis, but this is the best they've ever been at this point in the season in terms of record under Coach Butts.
Yeah, and they are, I think, ranked number 4 in 6A in Florida right now. Blanche Ely, Winter Haven, and Braden River, I think, are the 3 that are ahead of them. Of course, Max Prep's rankings you have to kind of take with a grain of salt, as Ocheng gets called for traveling Mustangs ball, because these schedules have been disrupted. So that ranking could be very different if Wekiva had been allowed to, or had been able to play games against teams like Oak Ridge and West Oaks and Montverde, who are 2 top shelf programs that would have certainly improved Wekiva's strength of schedule if Wekiva had played and won those games. As it stands, the world will never know what those outcomes would have been, because those games get stricken from the schedule entirely. So it's going to be interesting when we get into the postseason where the rankings finally end up, because a lot of it, of course, has to do with skill. Some of it has to do with dumb luck as far as which games you were actually able to play this year.
Yeah, and in the meantime, that's Holiday taking the path from Moffitt.
Moffitt to Canary Holiday for the Mustangs bucket.
So Wekiva comes off strong, 7-0 lead, 4.5 remaining in the first quarter. And they are 3 of 5 from the field, along with that free throw from Holiday. And Eads going to the boards for Wekiva. Of course, she is actually the shortest player on the Wekiva team. And comes up with that, again, as you say, Mark, not directly, but certainly the reason Wekiva has got that rebound, and that's Moffitt with the turnaround 12-foot J.
Mustang foul is called against number 32, Canary Holiday. That's her first personal foul, and the team's first.
So ball will be over with Oak Ridge now. Again, Oak Ridge in the dark uniforms, black with white trim in numbers. Wekiva in their traditional home uniforms, white with the maroon numbers. Oak Ridge still looking for their first points of this game as they bring it up. And Oching unable to
Oching doesn't
connect.
have the three, and it's going to roll right out of bounds. I don't think anybody touched it, and so it'll be a defensive team rebound for the Mustangs. Oak Ridge still looking to get on the board 4 minutes in.
And now Wekiva will bring it up. Something you're not going to see much, and that's a slower, more deliberate pace. This is Eads with the dribble as Wekiva keeps possession of the ball. Down low to Holiday with the spin and drops the deuce.
Kenari Holiday adds 2 for the Mustangs. And
that gives
am I not
Wekiva
mistaken?
9-0 lead here in the early going, under 4 minutes in the first quarter. And off the
layup
back
by Celine Farine for the Pioneers. And so Oak Ridge finally on the board, and it took 4.5 minutes. Moffitt got it. Rylan Moffitt from downtown. And we'll pause for a timeout. 30-second timeout requested by the Pioneers.
And when we return from Mustang Gymnasium, Wekiva with a 12-2 lead, 3:23 remaining. This is the Wekiva Mustangs Athletic Network.
Welcome back to Mustang Arena. Mark Barchi, the voice of the Mustangs and sports information director here at Wekiva High School, joined by Neil Fisher from the Apopka Chief, as we are now fully into the second half of season 14, and we've got a 3-point basket for Tori Bernard, the pass from Brianna Gay.
3 minutes remaining. That cuts the lead to 12-5. Wekiva's led from start to finish. It's Holiday down in the corner, up top to Gordon. Eads, of course, she is one of 2 freshmen on this team, and she uncharacteristically loses the ball but gains it back. As you like to say, Mark, one turnover deserves another. And
well, sometimes it deserves a third one, too.
With that said, 2.5 minutes remaining, and those were actually the first turnovers for Wekiva. So certainly Wekiva here in the early going doing an excellent job of handling the ball.
Shadaria Smith with some nice work there on defense, harassing Ochang. Clean jumper off from Foreen, and that's not going to fall, though. And chasing down the rebound is number 5, Gay.
Yeah, certainly Holiday, number 32, the center for Wekiva, tried to save that. She actually did save it. Can't fault her for the effort, but unfortunately did not wind up in the right hands from the Wekiva perspective. 12-5 is the score, 2:10 remaining in the first quarter. Neil Fisher, Mark Barchi, Mustang Gymnasium is the site. Wekiva coming in with a 12-3 record, while Oak Ridge comes in with an 8-6 record, and they are a bit at a severe disadvantage in terms of their numbers, as the tray does not drop.
Nice work by Eads, getting that dribble nice and tight to the floor, seeing it coming, and we've got Shadaria Smith on the pass to Amaria Gordon for 2. Gordon must have snuck in during the timeout.
Yeah, she did, and of course, mentioned Eads is a freshman, and Gordon is the other freshman on this year's team for Wekiva. And they will have an opportunity to get that lead over 10 with 1:43 remaining, as Oak Ridge unable to get handle on the ball. Eads brings the ball up, the point guard and leading scorer for Wekiva. Kicks it over to Gordon, who drops the ball into Moffitt.
And Moffitt using that height, and it's Moffitt on the pass to Kenari Holiday.
And Wekiva continues with the strong shooting, over 55% now, as we're about to go under 120 in the first half. Double team. Down in the corner, the baseline drive, but it does not materialize.
Traveling is called against the Pioneers, Zaharia Jones. Returning to the game, Madeline Touzé.
So it looks like a situation where Jones was thinking about what to do with the ball before she actually got the ball. And now, I did mention this, Mark, earlier. Wekiva is an up-and-down team. They like to get into transition. as the bucket is no good. Battle underneath. And
Canary
Bernard.
Holiday did everything right on that except get the ball in.
But Wekiva has probably used a more deliberate pace here in the first quarter than we're used to.
Ocheng to Jones for the Pioneer basket.
And so with 45 seconds left, the lead cut to 9, 16-7. Wekiva has led from start to finish. That's Eads. Can't get the tray off the heel, and some strong work under the board from Jones to pull down that rebound. And, of course, Oak Ridge looking to cut into that lead. 25 seconds remaining in the first quarter. And we got a whistle as Gay tried to dribble into the middle.
Mustang foul is called against number 12, Amaria Gordon. That's her first personal foul. The team's second, Shania McCarthy, into the game for the Mustangs.
And with McCarthy coming in, you also heard Mark give out that foul. 2 fouls for each team. Back up to the top. Bernard will set the offense, guarded by McCarthy. Drops the ball off to Gay, and she's
going to draw a foul, yep.
8.2 seconds remaining in the first quarter.
Foul is called against the Mustangs. Number 10, Jada Eads. That's her first personal foul. The team's third, and that will send Brianna Gay to the line, shooting 2 for the Pioneers. Gay looking for her first points of the game. She's picked up 2 fouls so far, and she does hit her first.
A nice stroke. And that cuts the lead to 16-8 in half. 1 more for Gay. Of course, she was in the act of shooting, so she gets the deuce. And both free throws good, and we are at 16-9. Wekiva with the last possession. 8.2 seconds on the rebound as Shadaria Smith, the senior from the right wing, can't get the tray. And that's how the first quarter will come to an end. 16-9. Wekiva has led from start to finish.
That takes us to the end of the first quarter. 16-9 is the score at the end of the opening 8 minutes here in Game 2 of the Old School Jam Classic. We'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back to Mustang Arena. The Pioneers have the opening possession of the second quarter. And we are underway. Quarter 2 after the Mustangs take a 16-9 lead for the opening 8 minutes.
I'm Neil Fisher. That was Mark Barchi you just heard, who also handles public address responsibilities here at Mustang Gymnasium. And Wekiva has led from start to finish. They scored the first 7 points. And Wekiva with the quick turnover, and we're off to the races. And, of course, transition is the name of the game for Coach Butts' teams. And they will draw a foul with 7:35 remaining before halftime.
Foul is called against number 11, Celine Farine. That is her first personal foul, the team's third.
And Wekiva in the white jerseys, maroon numbers. Oak Ridge in the dark jerseys of totally black with white numbers and the name in green. They come in with an 8-6 record. Wekiva, of course, 12-3 and looking to further position themselves to make a deep run into the state playoffs.
And I'm going to pause you there right, Neil. It looks like our camera locked that. Please stand by. We'll get the video back on in just a second. Shadaria Smith steals 2 for the Mustangs. All right, I apologize. You can't see the game right now. We're working on getting that pulled up again as soon as we can get it. Basket scored by number 11, Celine Foreen.
And so we will continue with the audio here. That's McCarthy from the right wing, unable to get the tray. Rebound for Oak Ridge. And more hassling and haggling from the comes loose. And Oching takes
Angelina
it. Angelina
Ocheng for 2.
So Oching taking advantage of a Wekiva lapse on defense. They had great defense initially, and then no one covered the baseline. 3 passes out to the top of the key. Smith unable to drop the tray. Ball goes out of bounds, and referees rule it'll be Oak Ridge ball.
Rylan Moffitt and Canary Holiday back in for the Mustangs.
So mentioned in the first quarter that Wekiva was shooting the ball very well. Oak Ridge actually shot the ball well too, at least from 2-point range. The problem is they only took 3 shots from 2-point range. They dropped 2 of them, and they were actually 1 of 6 from 3-point range. Wekiva 6 of 8, a 75% clip from the 2-point range. And the other difference statistically in the game, with Wekiva holding a 19-13 lead, is turnovers. Oak Ridge with 7, Wekiva with 2.
Rylan Moffitt is called on her first personal foul. It's the team's 4th. Pioneers ball at the opposing baseline.
And so that trend of turnovers has continued here through the first 2 minutes of the second quarter. They have 3 so far in the second quarter. Gay with the dribble. She'll come up to the top of the key, guarded by the freshman Eads. Under 6 minutes before halftime, 19-13, Wekiva in the lead. Oak Ridge with possession. Tuzay stepping in front of the pass on the perimeter, and she's not going to be able to do a drive. And situation gets worse as Oak Ridge gets the turnover, a quick swipe. And boy, that ball came loose for about 10 seconds. Oak Ridge, in particular, Gay, retains possession, and the ball goes out of bounds.
Canary Holiday makes the swat there, very nearly gets an over the back foul, but manages to avoid too much contact. It'll still be Pioneers ball at the opposing baseline.
And Bernard looking to inbound it. She takes the bounce pass in. Out to the right wing, down to the corner, along the baseline, back to Bernard, guarded by Moffitt and Holiday.
Nice block by, I think it was Moffitt got the block, and then Holiday on the rebound.
Yeah, Moffitt, it looked like she got the block, but Holiday should get an assist for that because she prevented any spin move into the basket.
Zahara Jones is called on her first personal foul, the team's 4th. Mustangs ball at the baseline.
So Oak Ridge with the 4th turnover of the game. Eads brings the ball up. 19-13, Wekiva with the lead. They've led from start to finish. They're in the white jerseys with possession. Holiday down to Moffitt.
Nice spin move, but it won't fall. Putback not there either.
And Holiday can't get to the loose ball, but
Ocheng gets the rebound. Mustangs going to run man-man full court.
And so Gay tries the tray off the heel. She goes after her own rebound.
Yeah, that's going to be a push.
And draws the foul. Great hustle there by Gay.
J.P. Eads is called on the push. It's her 2nd personal foul, the team's 5th. Returning to the game for the Mustangs, number 4, Shadaria Smith.
So Oak Ridge only had 1 offensive rebound in the first quarter. They now have 3 in the second quarter. 4:50 remaining. Mustang Gymnasium, home of the Wekiva Mustangs, is the site. Under the triad of stampeding horses on that far wall, Wekiva has led from start to finish. Oak Ridge with possession in the dark uniforms. That's Foreen, and she decides.
Blocked by Moffitt again. Moffitt's had 2 blocks on as many possessions. We're going to get a whistle here as it's smacked out of bounds. I think Holiday did that.
So Neil Fisher along with Mark Barchi bringing you the action on the Wekiva Mustangs Network. Quick turnover, quick pass to Smith, and she drops the deuce.
Eads on the pass to Shadaria Smith for 2.
So Wekiva continues to not only create turnovers from Oak Ridge, but take advantage scoring those points. Got another one, well, not quite. And Oak Ridge trying to settle down But Wekiva making that very difficult. Wekiva moving very well on defense, not really allowing Oak Ridge to settle down and get into any kind of rhythm. And there you see it again. Tuesday stepping in front of that pass on the baseline. She's going to lead the fast break. Back to Eads, can't get the tray.
Rebound goes to number 11, that's Celine Farine. And we'll slow things down just a little bit. Bernard gets all the way to the paint and then ends up letting the ball go out of bounds. I think they're going to say that Rylan Moffitt was the last one to touch it, so it'll stay with the Pioneers. Returning to the game for the Mustangs, Shania McCarthy.
3:35 remaining before the end of the first half.
Checking into the game for the Mustangs, Princess Harden.
21-13 is the score.
We'll go straight for the jumper, and too much mustard on that one. Shadaria Smith gets the rebound. Eads on the pass, and it falls. Princess Harden from Jada Eads.
And so Harden coming into the game, and she immediately makes her presence felt as Wekiva now gets her lead up to 10, the largest of the game. They led by 9 at the end of the first quarter. And that's Oching trying to drop the tray, can't get it to go. Eads brings it up, and Wekiva back on the attack.
Princess Harden draws the foul. She'll go to the line and shoot 2 for the Mustangs. The foul is called against Pioneers, number 23, Angelina Ocheng. That's her first personal foul, the team's 5th.
So with Harden at the line, looking for her first points of the game, and Wekiva holding a 23-13 lead.
Well, Harden had the previous shot that came from Eads, so she's got 2 in the books now and looking for her 3rd.
Yeah, excuse me, that's right, Harden scored. But Wekiva begins the second half of the season, the calendar year, as unfortunately neither free throw is good. Lead remains 23-13. We got the baseline drive, no good. Again, another turnover, and Eads is going to lead the fast break, going to running back Smith, who makes the withdrawal.
Smith for 2.
Smith making the withdrawal, lead up to 25-13, the largest of the game for the Mustangs here at Mustang Gymnasium. Kick out to Jones, unable to drop it, and again, Smith doing work under the board. This is Eads from the tray. And that ball is going to go out of bounds, and Oak Ridge will take over possession. So, of course, we talked about Moffitt and Howday, the 2 inside players for Wekiva, primary inside players. But the guards have certainly shown up and done their jobs on the rebounding as well.
Full timeout is called by the Pioneers.
We return to Mustang Gymnasium, home of the Wekiva Mustangs, on the southeast side of Apopka, Florida. 2:23 before halftime, Wekiva holding a 25-13 lead. They have led from start to finish. This is their largest lead of the game. Oak Ridge is the opponent, and they have possession of the ball in the dark uniforms.
And let's see, are they going to say that touched the Mustangs? Yes, they will say it did. So no turnover there.
So Wekiva, we mentioned, came in 12-3, looking to further position themselves to make a run into the postseason, the playoffs. as Oak
And that
Ridge
time, not
turns
so
over
lucky.
again.
They got away with the first one, but not the
Yeah.
second one, so that'll be a turnover out of bounds Mustangs ball.
Yeah, and 15 turnovers for Oak Ridge. That certainly is the stat which sticks out in this game. But wanted to talk about the Florida Prospects Tournament. That was played the last week of 2020 as Eads takes the stop, pop, and drop.
Jade Eads for 2.
And that increases the lead to 27-13 as we get close to the second half. So Wekiva played Lake Mary on December 28th, taking a 67-39 lead with Eads. The long pass to Smith. She saves it. Unfortunately, probably would have been better off not saving it. Oak Ridge comes the other way, and they're going to turn that ball over once again.
Eads looking for an opportunity, tries to go down the baseline, takes the jumper from short range, not able to get the bounce off the glass there, and the rebound is going to go to Jones.
So Wekiva again beat Lake Mary on December 28th. This is the Florida Prospects, 67-39. They beat Reebok, the 12-time state champion,
Brianna Gay from the paint for 2.
by 57-54 score on December 29th, and then they lost a heartbreaker to Palm Bay, 70-66 on the 30th. So as Holiday's trying to do work under the board, she will not get the points, but draws the foul.
Canary Holiday will go to the line and shoot 2 for the Mustangs after drawing the foul from number 11, Celine Foreen. That's her second personal foul. The team's 6th.
And so getting back to the Florida Prospects, Wekiva did win 12 of 3. They then came into this year and be two traditional teams that also expect to make long runs into the postseason rather easily, 70-31 over Spruce Creek and then 61-28 over West Orange last Friday. But going back to the Florida Prospects, Coach Butts was very pleased with his team's effort in that tournament. Of course, we mentioned at the beginning of the season, beginning of this game, that Wekiva is a team, as Holiday unable to get that second free throw, who is used to making long runs into the postseason and winning 20-plus games, but they find their groove, find their footing after in the second half, which begins with the Florida Prospects Tournament. This year they're 12-3, so obviously the best record under Butts, as we now have 30 seconds remaining, and Wekiva. Coach Butts still felt his team could make some improvements, in particular communication and just that rhythm, playing together, and again, he was very pleased with that.
Celine Farine is fouled on the attempt. She'll go to the line and shoot 2 for the Pioneers. The foul called against Mustangs number 23, Stephanie White. That's her first personal foul and the team's 6th.
Also with 21 seconds, just under 21 seconds, that's Foreen at the free throw line for Oak Ridge. Varsity boys, the varsity men will take to the court about 15 minutes after this game. And they will be taking on their traditional geographic rival, West Orange. 18 seconds remaining. And Bernard will call out the offense, set the offense. 10 seconds now.
6 fouls on both sides. May not make a difference here, though.
Yeah, Smith with the steal, and she will be rewarded on the other end going to the free throw line. 4 seconds
Smith
remaining.
is fouled on the attempt. She'll go to the line and shoot 2 for the Mustangs. The foul is called against number 24, so Zahara Jones. That's her second personal foul, team 7th.
So Oak Ridge doing work under the boards, coming up with that offensive rebound, a very strong offensive rebound. But then their biggest bugaboo, if you will, their biggest weakness comes back and bites them. That's the turnover. Of course, Smith had a lot to do with that. Some quick hands getting into that ball and knocking it away. 4 seconds remaining, and it looks like Oak Ridge is just going to run out the clock here. I don't think they're aware of the time.
That takes us to halftime, and the Mustangs will go into the locker room with a 14-point advantage. 29-15 is the score at intermission of our varsity girls contest here at the Old School Jam Classic.
And so Wekiva took the lead at the beginning, scoring the first 7 points. And as Mark just indicated, they have further extended that lead up to 14, a 6-0 run to end the first half. 29-15 is your score, and we will be back with second half action on the Wekiva Mustangs Athletic Network.
The Pioneers have the opening possession of the third period. Welcome back to Mustang Arena. Mark Barchi, voice of the Mustangs, and Sports Information Director here at Wekiva High School, joined as always by Neil Fisher from the Apopka Chief, ready to take you through the third period.
And thank you again, Mark. As always, an excellent job. So we talked, Wekiva comes into this second half holding a 29-15 lead. They've led from start to finish. Oak Ridge with possession of the ball. And I was going to talk about the turnovers. 17 committed in the first half by Oak Ridge. Certainly the stat which stands out the most. They will dodge the proverbial bullet on that particular turnover, as Wekiva unable to get a shot off. But that's still a 17-4 advantage in turnovers by Wekiva. Oak Ridge now with possession of the ball. Wekiva going full court man-to-man defense. And again, 29-15 is the lead. Wekiva leading from start to finish. They turned a 8-point lead into 14 right before the halftime, scoring 6 consecutive points. And a second turnover for Oak Ridge at the start of this second half will result in free throws.
Jada Eads is fouled on the attempt. She'll go to the line and shoot 2. The foul is called against Celine Florin. That's her third personal foul, the team's first of the half.
So Eads with 2 points. Of course, Eads is the leading scorer for Wekiva, so somewhat of a surprise that she scored only 2 points. Nonetheless, I'm sure her bigger concern is how many points the team has scored, and they've now scored 30 and have a 15-point lead against Oak Ridge.
Checking in for Oak Ridge, number 13, Milani Sheffield.
So looking at the stats here, again, both teams shooting the ball fairly well, as Smith ups the lead to 31-15, 7:18 remaining in the third quarter. Both teams shot 44%. However, Wekiva has taken twice as many from 2-point range. Oak Ridge 5 of 9 from 2-point range. Wekiva 11 of 18. And again, a 17-4 lead.
Madeline Tuzzi on the pass from Shadaria Smith for 2.
So again, actually now it's 20-4, and make that 21-4 in the turnover department. 4 consecutive turnovers for Oak Ridge at the start of the second half.
Madeline Tuzzi is fouled on the attempt. She'll go to the line and shoot 2. The foul is called against Brianna Gay. That's her third personal foul. The team's second this half. And now they have 2 players with 3 fouls.
And I also pointed this out at the beginning of the game. 3 injuries on the Oak Ridge roster, so they only have 1 sub. They're playing with 6 players to begin with. As Tuzet drops the first of the 2 free throw attempts. And make that 2 of 2, and the lead is now up to 34-15. Wekiva scored 11 straight points. 35-15. Wekiva has scored 11 straight points, turning a 16-point lead into 19. 6.5 remaining in the third quarter. Oak Ridge still trying to find their footing, so to speak. This is the first time they've actually been able to get the ball down into their side of the court. The Wekiva side. They've turned the ball over on the first 4 possessions. King is going to be denied on that drive.
Looks like we're going to have to reset the camera again, Neil. Apologies for interrupting you there, but just want to let our viewers know that we are aware of the problem and got it rebooting here. Foul is called against Mustangs number 10, Jada Eads. That's her third personal foul and the team's first of the half.
So Oak Ridge continues to maintain possession of the ball, but not for long.
Now Holiday gets a block and a rebound.
And we come down at the other end. That's Moffitt from the corner. No go, but Tuzet doing work under the board. Quick pass to Moffitt. Can't get the first, gets the second. Second chance points.
Rylan Moffitt gets her own putback for 2. And we've got our camera desperately trying to reboot here. If it won't reboot in a minute here, then we will cut the broadcast and restart the whole system. 3-point basket scored by Zahara Jones.
And so Jones dropping the tray from the baseline. That cuts the lead to 37-18, 5:30 remaining in the third quarter. And stop, pop, and drop for Shadari.
Shadaria Smith from downtown for the Mustangs.
And a beautiful pass to set up that tray for Moffitt from the left corner to the right wing extended. 40-18 is the score. 5 minutes remaining in the third quarter. And Oching's going to try to drive, denied again. Holiday coming up big under that basket. She has 3 blocks tonight, and Wekiva go to work very quickly. Eads takes the tray and drains the rain.
Jada Eads for 3, and the camera came back just in time for you to see that.
So, and again, remember that tray dropped by Eads was set up by the block. Holiday with the block on the other end of the court. So Oak Ridge still trying to cut into that lead. They're now down by 25. They are the team with possession of the ball. And Gay tries to drop it down, and guess who? Again, Mark, Holiday.
Yeah, she's having a great day on defense. Moffitt can't get the initial, but Madeline Toussaint on the putback.
And that is the third consecutive possession in which Wekiva scored off an offensive rebound. And, of course, they already had a +10 lead going into the second half. It is now increased to 45-18 as we get a stoppage.
And a little bit of confusion on the court here. There was a whistle, and I think maybe it was one of the Oak Ridge players was slow to get up, and they thought they were going to have to do an injury timeout, but then she bounced back. And by that point, Coach Butts thought that we were in a full timeout, and yeah, now everything's sorted.
So again, the end result is 45-18 is the lead for Wekiva. 4 minutes remaining in the third quarter, and another turnover, the 5th of this half, in the 22nd overall. And no basket yet, but another couple offensive rebounds. Holiday at the top. She's going to spin like Patrick Ewing. Unfortunately, could not catch rim, but certainly a good idea. And certainly looks smooth, at least in terms of the spin move. And, you know, when you're up by 27, you can smile, which Holiday did. Steal by Eads, great anticipation. And unfortunately cannot get the bucket. So we come back the other way, 3.5 in the third. Trey does not drop. That's McCarthy doing work under the board. Unfortunately, she's going to be harassed into a travel.
Traveling, Pioneers ball. Checking into the game for the Mustangs, Omaria Gordon.
And so Oak Ridge will take over possession, again trailing 45-18 in the third quarter. Oak Ridge in the dark uniforms with the white numbers. And Gordon steps right in front of that pass, playing cornerback. Eads picks up the loose ball and drains the rain.
Jada Eads for 3. And I see our camera is misbehaving once again here. If we can, at the break between quarters, see if we can't restart the whole system.
Okay, so Holiday picks up another rebound off a block shot. And Wekiva goes back to work on the offensive end. Another offensive rebound that sets up the shot by Eads. Does not drop, but Wekiva again continues to pound that glass, doing Windex work. And on the other end, Holiday continues to do what she has really done all season, not just this game, with the rebound. Gordon on the left wing extended and drops the tray.
No, it's not either.
Okay,
Omaria Gordon with a 2-point jumper.
Nonetheless, an impressive shot, and Wekiva up to 50-18 lead, 2.5 minutes remaining, and a timeout called.
And we'll take this opportunity for a timeout. Full timeout is called by Oak Ridge, and we'll see if we can't get that camera fixed while.
And welcome back to Mustang Gymnasium, home of the Wekiva Mustangs on the southeast side of Apopka. Neil Fisher along with Mark Barchi on the Wekiva Mustangs Athletic Network. And certainly we've seen Wekiva flex its muscles today, taking a 7-0 lead, and now the lead is up to 50-18, 2.5 remaining in the third quarter. And really the story statistically has been turnovers and offensive rebounds. Wekiva has committed only 6 compared to 23 for Oak Ridge. Offensive rebounds are about 2-1 advantage, and that's Gay driving the lane. The basket will not count. Whistle came before, but she will go to the free throw line with 2:05 remaining in the third quarter.
Foul is called against Mustangs number 22, Shania McCarthy. Her first, the team's second. At the line shooting will be number 5, Brianna Gay.
So Gay with 4 points, looking to cut into that 50-18 lead. She will not get the free throws to drop, and Moffitt clears the boards, and we come down the other end. Smith with the dribble, passes it to McCarthy, down to Harden, back up to Moffitt, unable to get the ball, and very active under the boards. This time, though, the ball is going to bounce to Oak Ridge. Ball's going to bounce Oak Ridge's way, and they will take over possession of the ball. And so Oak Ridge in the dark uniforms, black with white numbers and the name in green, comes down. That's Gay to Bernard, out to the right wing. Oching with the shot. It will not drop. Scramble picked up by Wekiva. That's McCarthy. She gets it out quickly to Smith. Excuse me, that was Gordon with the rebound. Moffitt, left wing extended, 12-foot J, no good. Smith picks up the loose ball. Out to the left wing extended. Harden again. Harden again. As McCarthy doing work under the board with 1:11 remaining. We will have a jump ball, possession arrow in favor of Wekiva.
Held ball, possession Mustangs.
So Wekiva was, as Moffitt takes the shot, unable to get that to drop, and some more work under the board. And Oak Ridge is going to come out with it this time, but immediately
held ball, possession Pioneers.
So 50-20 is your score. 1 minute remaining in the third quarter. And Oak Ridge with some quick hands there on that rebound, causing the jump ball. And they will not hold on to it very long. Another turnover. And we come down the other way with 45 seconds remaining. Smith to Gordon. Gordon to Harden. That's a freshman to freshman. Unable to get the ball down, but they get the shot off. And that will continue to keep the pressure on Oak Ridge. A block by McCarthy. Oh, she just stepped in front of that, and ball never really came out of the hands of the shooter. 28.1 seconds remaining.
Foul called against number 4, Shanaria Smith, her first, the team's third. So one thing that has helped this game move along nicely, and part of this may have to do with the fact that Oak Ridge has very limited reserves. We've had relatively few fouls. We're only up to 5 so far cumulatively in the second half. Game's moving along at a pretty nice clip, which is helpful because we started this game about 20 minutes late thanks to the JV game going into overtime. Trey not there for Tori Bernard. Smith on the rebound. 4 seconds to go. McCarthy, maybe the last word of the quarter, but it doesn't fall for her. And that takes us to the end of the third period, and it is a 30-point ball game. 50-20 is the score with 8 minutes left to play.
This is the Wekiva Mustangs Athletic Network. Neil Fisher along with Mark Barchi, live from Mustang Gymnasium. We are ready to take you through the last 8 minutes of this game. Wekiva has dominated and been in the lead from the beginning. They now hold a 50-20 lead. They are in the white uniforms with the maroon numbers and have possession of the ball. Oak Ridge is the opponent in the dark uniforms. And we've seen a lot of shooting tonight from Wekiva. Of course, the stat that sticks out the most is the turnovers, 24 for Oak Ridge, and that certainly helps you get more shots. This is Smith, the pass over to Gordon. She can't take the shot, so it goes back to Smith. And
rebound's going to go to Game.
And something we have not seen very much tonight, Wekiva failing to score on 2 consecutive possessions. But again, the lead remains at 30, 50-20. The tray does not drop for Oching. And now Wekiva is going to set up on their offensive end with 7 minutes remaining. That's McCarthy over to Stephanie White, who came in between quarters. This is her first action of the game. Neither team able to get any points here in the early going. And now with that 30-point lead, Wekiva has really slowed down the pace. Not necessarily in terms of getting up and down the court as Moffitt shot fires in short, but they are looking to get into more half-court sets in the second half.
Omaria Gordon is called on the reach. That's her second personal foul, the team's fourth.
And so, of course, Wekiva comes in with a 12-3 record, looking to get this win and further position themselves to make a long run into the playoffs. Of course, Wekiva is a state championship contender, perennial basis, as the tray drops.
Angelina Oche for 3.
And that will cut the lead to 50-23. And Wekiva looking to win one more game this year than last year. They lost in the state championship final to Eli Blanche.
Blanche Eli.
Blanche Eli.
And Mustangs will request a timeout, full timeout called by Wekiva.
And so also a quick reminder, join us, stick around 15 minutes after the conclusion of this game. The varsity boys teams will take to the court. Wekiva, this is the Wekiva Mustangs Athletic Network. .6:11 remaining. And this is live action from Mustang Gymnasium. Neil Fisher, Mark Barchi bringing you that action. Wekiva with a 50-23 lead, 6 minutes remaining. It's been all Wekiva. They scored the first 7 points. And something we haven't seen very often, of course you can when you've played as well as Wekiva has today. Some smiles from the players. They're usually all business.
Omaria Gordon is fouled on the attempt. She'll go to the line and shoot 2 for the Mustangs. Foul is called against number 3, Tori Bernard. That's her first personal foul tonight, the team's third.
And so Gordon with 4 points. Of course, Gordon is only a freshman, 5'10". Does not get that first free throw to drop.
Second one goes, though.
And with this lead, and of course Wekiva with a fairly large lead for most of the game. Again, they scored the first 7 points, and they had it over 10 about halfway through the first quarter. They were up to 20 about halfway through the second quarter. Coach Butts has been able to get his two other freshmen, the two freshmen who are not in the starting lineup, some good time tonight.
Celine Vereen on the pass from Brianna Gay.
Eads, of course, is your main freshman, or your freshman you hear the most about. She's in the starting lineup, the team's leading scorer.
Shanaria Smith on the Mustang layup.
But your two other freshmen are Amaria Gordon, number 12, and Princess Harden. And again, they've seen quite a bit of time here in the second half. And certainly they have played well with that time being allotted to them. And now Stephanie White trying to weave and will the ball in, which she did, but unfortunately committed a foul en route to scoring.
Offensive charge is called against number 23, Stephanie White, her second, the team's fifth. Charge taken by Celine Farine. And a lot of personnel changes coming in for the Mustangs. They're going to do a fire drill here.
Yeah, with 5:04 remaining in a 53-25 lead. And Stephanie White talked about the two freshmen who don't see a lot of time because they're freshmen. But Stephanie White, a senior, she is getting some significant time here as well. Tried to make the most of it on that last possession. Unfortunately, did not work out. Got a little over-aggressive and drew the foul. And speaking of freshmen, there's Eads. And her field goal does not drop. And Holiday, who has been so strong on defense all season, she is in the game and creates a turnover there.
Brianna Gay is called for traveling Mustangs ball.
And as you like to say, Mark, of course she doesn't get direct credit for that turnover, but the end result's the same. And speaking of Holiday, she's doing more work under the board. Pulls down a pair of offensive rebounds.
Held ball, possession, Pioneers. So Zahara Jones will get credit for that defensive rebound since the possession arrow is pointed her way.
Oak Ridge in the dark uniforms with possession of the ball. And that's Tuze guarding Bernard. Bernard drops it off to Oching, who tries to drive the lane, runs right into a double team.
Stephanie White comes up with the pick, gets it all the way to the front court, and then loses the ball to a steal by Farine. Farine has wide open court in front of her, stops and waits, and Celine Farine picks up two on the steal.
Yeah, only the 8th turnover tonight for Wekiva. 4 minutes remaining.
Maybe too cute by half there. Mustangs trying to make something happen a little too fast.
And so Eads, picks up that ball and probably would have been better served off just driving the lane herself. Of course, I know she wants to get her teammates involved, but she did have an open lane.
Neil, you were talking about the turnovers. There they are, 30-8. The stat as we are about 28 minutes out of 32 into this game. And that has been key to the results so far, as we have a held ball, possession Mustangs. So give Eads the credit for the rebound there.
Yeah, certainly turnovers is the stats which stands out first. Obviously with 30, you don't need to be a basketball guru to see how that stands out. And Eads cranks up the offense again, drops the ball back to Harden, who drains the 12-footer.
Princess Harden for a long two on the pass from Eads.
And that ups the lead to 55-27, 3 minutes remaining. And Gay having some trouble handling that ball. She brings it down now and gets it back. This is Gay with possession. Oak Ridge in the dark uniforms. And so Gay's going to pull the ball out, set the offense as we drop under 3 minutes remaining. Wekiva's led from start to finish, taking a 7-0 lead. And boy, Harden giving all kinds of harassment to Farine. Farine does manage to hold on to the ball, drops it off to Gay. She can't get the shot. She'll take a second shot. This one drops from the top of the key.
Brianna Gay for three.
And that cuts the lead to 55-30, 2.5 minutes remaining. Wekiva, of course, will up their record to 13-3. They will gain some more points in the point system with this victory. And no whistle there.
For what it's worth, Pioneers have outscored the Mustangs 10, now make it 12-5 since the beginning of the fourth quarter. Brianna Gay scores two more for the Pioneers, and we'll pause for a Mustang timeout.
Yes, with 2:09 remaining, 55-32 is the score. This is the Wekiva Mustangs Athletic Network. Mark Varsity, Neil Fisher are bringing you the action between Wekiva and Oak Ridge from Mustang Gymnasium, home of Wekiva. 2:09 remaining. We'll be here to take you through that last 2:09. Wekiva holding a 54-32 lead, and they currently have possession. That's Eads bringing the ball up. And, of course, Wekiva will finish this game with a 13-3 record. Oak Ridge will drop to 8-7. That's been a very dominating performance by Wekiva's Holiday. Stop, pops, and drops from the 8-foot.
Canary Holiday from Jada Eads.
And, of course, Eads, an excellent job of setting her teammate up. And we got a stoppage with 1:40 remaining.
Held ball, possession Pioneers.
So also want to point out that stick around. We got the boys taking to the court after this. The Wekiva varsity team will take on the West Orange Warriors. That's always a geographical rivalry as the schools are about 8 miles apart. And so in this game, Wekiva scored the first 7 points. They had a 10-point lead at the end of the first quarter, and that lead was up over 25 at halftime.
Jada Eads is fouled on the attempt. She'll go to the line and shoot 2. The block is called against number 5, Brianna Gay, her 4th personal foul, the team's 4th.
And so Eads looking to get her 11th point. She's actually not the leading scorer today. Holiday, who has been a monster on the boards and defensively under the boards.
Yeah, Holiday is one of those players who you normally think about her defensive production more than you do about her offensive production, but she's been great on both sides today.
Yeah, and certainly she is a senior this year and, of course, a junior. And one of the things I really like about Holiday is if you watch her, her game is really developed on that offensive end in terms of being able to use her size to her advantage. I know she didn't get I don't recall her getting any shots tonight or scoring any, but she does. She has taken about half a dozen Patrick Ewing, Hakeem Olajuwon looking type shots where she puts the ball up and spins around and uses the bank. And so with 1:14 remaining, 59-32 Wekiva lead, we do have a timeout.
30-second timeout called by Oak Ridge. We'll be back.
And welcome back to Mustang Gymnasium, home of the Wekiva Mustangs. Mark Barchi, Neil Fisher, 1:14 remaining. This has been all Wekiva, came in with a 12-3 record. They are now ahead 59-32, 1 minute remaining. And Wekiva in the white jerseys, Oak Ridge in the black jerseys with the white numbers. And they have possession of the ball as we are now officially dropped under 1 minute. The tray from the corner, the attempt. And Eads picks up the loose ball. Holiday kept it alive. A long pass over to Tuze. She turns around and a nice soft touch to drop the deuce.
Tuze on the pass from Eads for 2. Yeah, it's worth noting that Brianna Gay picked up her 4th foul on that most recent foul. So, in theory, the Oak Ridge may be in trouble from that, but it's probably too late in the game for that to really make a factor. Here she's going to draw a foul.
26.9 seconds remaining.
Foul called against number 24, Madeline Touzé. That's her first personal foul this afternoon. The team's sixth. Checking into the game for the Mustangs, Shania McCarthy. And that also will give bonus, not this time, but next time, to the Pioneers. Again, maybe too late for that to actually become a factor.
And so Oak Ridge will pass the ball in an air ball.
Yeah, McCarthy might have got a piece of that, I think.
Yeah. Well, even if she didn't, it was really great defense cutting off that inside line. And now Eads brings the ball up. And I think we're going to see the end of this game. Looks like Wekiva is just going to dribble out the last 10 seconds. And just like to also point out, we've been pointing it out throughout the game, but as we get ready to close out this broadcast, because we don't do it often, want to give some credit to Kanari Holiday, who was a monster under the boards, but today she also had the offensive production with 11 points.
That takes us to the end of the ball game. 61-32 is the final score in our varsity game of the Old School Jam Classic. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you so much for coming out to support your Mustang and Pioneer athletes this afternoon, spending part of your weekend with us. Thanks also to those of you who joined us on YouTube or the NFHS Network. We hope you'll stick around for the varsity boys game. We're going to have a makeup game that was supposed to happen last week against West Orange, then that will finish up our weekend activities. That's coming up next on the same channel, YouTube or the NFHS Network, but it will be a separate live stream. We'll meet you there in about 15